Hello, it's Joanna from Goddess Crochet. Today I'll be showing you how to make these simple wrist warmers, and they really are super easy. What you're going to need is some worsted weight yarn, a crochet hook size H, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. We're going to start with a slip knot. And then chain the number that we need to fit around our wrist. Now for me, I'm an extra small, so 26 is a good number. If you want to go 28 or 30, that's pretty much guaranteed to fit most sizes, and of course you can go a little bit bigger than that if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 26. You don't really need to see me do all that, so I will meet you back here in a minute. I've chained my 26 stitches. You may have more. Now we're going to join to the first chain with a slip stitch, and make sure you don't twist the chain. And how I do that is I just kind of take my fingers and run them down to the bottom just to make sure that's nice and straight. Then we're going to bring that right up to the hook and go into that first stitch, and then do a slip stitch. To join. Now we have our ring, and then we're going to start working in the round. So for our first double crochet, we're going to chain 2. You could also do a standing double crochet, which is what I like to do. It's really easy. Instead of chaining 2, I pull the yarn up to the height of a double crochet, put your finger down on that loop, and twist your hook behind the loop that you just made. So I'll show you that again. You want to lift that loop up to the height of a double crochet, put your finger right on that, and just twist right behind, and then yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, and you have a double crochet. It looks a little bit better than a chain 2, but if you can't figure that out, go ahead and use a chain 2. Not a big deal. Okay, so now we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. Just keep working double crochets through each chain around. And if you've never done a double crochet before, that would be a yarn over, go into your stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a double crochet. We're just going to do that all the way around through each of the chains until we get to the end. Now this is literally the hardest part of the entire project. So once you get past this row, the rest is smooth sailing. So I will meet you back here with a finished row, or finished round. I've completed my 26 stitches all the way around. Make sure you count each stitch. So if you had 30, make sure you have 30 and you didn't lose a stitch along the way. So now we're going to join to that first stitch with a slip stitch. If you used a chain 2, then join to the second chain. I used a standing double crochet, so I'm just going to join right into the top of that stitch with a slip stitch. Okay. Now we're going to start our second row, which is exactly like the first, except we're working into the double crochet stitches instead of the chain. So you can chain 2, or you can again do that standing double crochet, which is what I like to do. And then we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. Super easy. And you don't need to see me do this either. So when you are finished double crocheting in each stitch around, unpause this video and we'll move on. I've reached the end of round 2, so we're going to join just like we did the last row with a slip stitch. If you have chain 2, join into the second chain. Now for rows 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for round 2. So we're going to chain 2 or do our standing double crochet and then double crochet all the way around and join with a slip stitch, just like we did the round prior. Now you could go even longer if you wanted to. The wrist warmers start about right here and end about right here, but if you want it to run down the length of your arm, feel free to make that double crochet tube as long as you like, and then stop when you get to where your thumb is. But I'm just going to stick with the traditional pattern, which calls for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of double crochet. So this will be 3, and I'm going to keep going just like we've been going until I get to the end of round 6, and then I will pick it back up. So I've reached the end of my round 6 and I joined with a slip stitch. You could go longer, like I said, if you want to do long arm warmers. But now we're going to do the thumb hole row. This is round 7. So it's almost exactly like all the other rounds, except what we're going to do is double crochet all the way around and stop when we get to 4 stitches left. So we'll do our chain 2 or our standing double crochet, whichever you prefer, and double crochet in each stitch around until there are 4 stitches left. And don't work in those stitches. Got to the end of my round 7 and I've double crocheted all the way around and left 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches unworked. This is going to leave a hole for the thumb. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4 and join to that stitch, that first stitch, or that chain 2, whatever you did, with a slip stitch. And so that's going to make our nice thumb hole right there. So to start round 8, we're going to chain 2 or do that standing double crochet that I like so much, and double crochet all the way around till you get to that chain 4 space. I've worked my way all the way around, double crocheting into each stitch, and now we're at the chain 4 space. So what we're going to do is just do 4 double crochet right into the space. Now you could do the double crochets into the individual chains if you want, but I feel like that's making a little bit more work for ourselves than we need, so I'm just going to do 4 double crochet right into the chain 4 space. And then join to our first stitch, which is your chain 2 or your standing double crochet, with a slip stitch. There. So for rounds 9, 10, and 11, we are just going to do the double crochet all the way around, just like we've been doing. Except there is a decrease in the last round, but I'll show you that when we get there. So for this round, this would be round 9. We're going to do our chain 2 or our standing double crochet and double crochet in each stitch around. I've just finished round 9. Yep, 9. And so for round 10, we are literally going to repeat the same process. Either chain 2 or do a standing double crochet and double crochet all the way around till you get to the end, and then join with a slip stitch, and then we will do round 10, which is our last round. So I just finished round 10. I just said that round 10 would be our last row, but actually it's going to be round 11. So I finished with round 10. Round 11 is going to be our last row, our last round, I should say. So what we're going to do is do exactly like we've been doing before. Chain 2 or do your standing double crochet and just double crochet all the way around, except for the last 2 stitches we're going to work a decrease. So go ahead and double crochet all the way around until you get to the last 2 stitches. So I've worked my double crochets around all the way around on row 11. I've reached the last 2 stitches. So what we're going to do is just do a double crochet decrease, which is really easy. But if you absolutely don't want to do a decrease, you could just double crochet in the last 2 stitches, slip stitch to close your round, and call it a day. But we're going to do a decrease right here. So how we do that is we start just like a normal double crochet. We yarn over, go into our stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, but instead of finishing that stitch, we're gonna go into our next stitch with a double crochet. So we're gonna yarn over, go into our stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and now we're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Shrink just like that, and that's our decrease. And then we're gonna join to our chain 2 or standing double crochet, whichever you did, with a slip stitch, and voila. You want to cut and fasten off by yarning over and pulling that thread all the way through the loop and just pulling tight. Go ahead and use your tapestry needle to weave the thread in through the back, just to keep everything secure. And that's it. That is our easy, simple wrist warmer. It's super cute. Go ahead and make another one. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.